Housing is That's me. Housing has been in the news for the past couple of weeks. Number one, the story that Montreal will be providing 60 new modular homes, which will help some homeless people. But then a bigger announcement last week by all three levels of government, federal, provincial, municipal, building 1,001 affordable homes, 677 in Montreal, 324 in Rimouski, all as part of a new housing, what they call fast track program. This is Angelica Montgomery's report. Take a listen to this first, then we'll come back and follow up with Catherine Lussier from FRAPRU, the housing advocate here, because not everyone necessarily thinks this is the best news we could have had.
Development is everywhere at the Angus Eco District in Rosemont, and there's more to come.
We need $3 million, and the money comes from half from the government of Quebec, the other half from the federal government.
That's how much the developer's nonprofit organization, the Société de Développement Angus, is getting to build 1,001 affordable housing units, mostly in Montreal. It will be the first pre-qualified developer under the government's new housing fast-track program.
It's a partner that we can trust that is able to deliver housing within time and on budget.
Amid a growing housing crisis, the housing minister says it was necessary to change the way affordable housing projects are funded.
The former projects didn't provide for strong or tight delays, or budgets were always expendable.
But how the term affordable housing is defined differs depending on who you ask. The Quebec government says it's when rent is no more than 30% of a person's income.
A family that might be making $60,000, for the household, something, a 4.5 could be affordable at something that would be completely out of range. Person on welfare.
Margaret Van Newton with Project Genesis questions if the units will be affordable for every income level. Developer Christian Iaccarini says the apartments will be 1 to 3 bedrooms and the rent will range from $1,090 to $1,250 per month. For a 3-bedroom, that means around $15,000 per year. That would fall under 30% if your annual income is $45,000. Affordable for the average Montrealer who makes between $55,000 and $60,000 per year. Less affordable for those with lower incomes and at higher risk of ending up on the street.
We see many people who are spending almost 100% of their income on rent and going to food banks to eat.
She hopes future housing projects will help those in the lowest income bracket. Meantime, this project is expected to break ground by the end of the year. Angela McKenzie, CTV News.
I'm not sure what I called her. I think I said Angelica. Obviously, that's Angela McKenzie over at CTV. So that's the announcement, which in and of itself is good news, right? You want to see housing units built. The idea of a fast-track program seems like a pretty good idea as well. But then you heard from Project Genesis suggesting, you know what? This idea of what's affordable, what's not affordable, who is it really affordable for? Catherine Lussier is a housing advocate with FRAPRU. Catherine, you're obviously aware of the story. I saw you talking about this last week. What's your issue here?
Obviously, every social housing or every community housing is a good thing, but we're really questioning how the Quebec government is actually giving a fast track for certain and how we decide to attribute these funding to specific organization while there is, other projects that are waiting to be funded or municipal offices that have a long waiting list but are not being seen as developers or are not part of, until now, of these announcements and don't receive any of this funding for developing social housing units. So obviously we are more questioning how we are delivering or how we're giving those funding to those specific organizations while there is way more outside and that we have a program that is not being funded adequately and we're giving all these units outside of those programs. So we're mainly questioning why the Quebec government is doing it that way.
So the government or governments, because as I said, there are 3 levels involved here, said that the program, this fast track idea, is to find developers who already have a good track record, who can deliver on time for what they've promised, which doesn't seem like a bad idea. And they also said, I think at the end, that, other developers who would like to apply to be part of this program can. So I'm not quite sure I understand why you think this is not the best way to go.
First, you learn about this new fast track program only in last announcement. So there is a lot of developers that were not part of this announcement. We are really asking what all the list of criteria, and we want that this list become public quickly. And obviously, for us, there is a lot of smaller developers that might not have this opportunity. We absolutely want that everyone has the same chance of developing their project. And we know that the lack of funding was one of the issues why this was not possible for many of them to develop quickly their project, while there is a lack of funding for many years in social housing. And now we are giving this opportunity for certain developers, but we know that for smallers, for co-ops, for example, they might never be able to qualify themselves as these developers. So we're not giving the same chances or equal chances for all those projects that are answering needs, that are coming from the communities, that are, made with tenants, that are fighting for having this project in their communities. We're not giving them the same chances to see their project getting out of the ground.
But isn't it more important, or at least as important, when you talk about 1,000 homes? I mean, that's a big number as opposed to a smaller project somewhere else, to get the big project done first?
We are specifically saying that not everyone has the same chances, and we're not answering the same needs also. So we need all the types of project that needs to be done, and we want a program that will permit to deliver also these social housing units, which we're not seeing from the Quebec government. And most of the 8,000 units that was announced in the last economic update have been done outside of a program, which sometimes not really, the process is not clear, and with the criteria are not clear also. So for us, that's why it needs to have a program that is solid and that also permits every type of project to get out of the ground, including the ones from municipal offices for public housing. While there are 16,000 people on the list, they still have no project that are getting out of the ground for them.
And with respect to that, have you gotten any headway from the government, from any level of government, with asking about those projects?
Unfortunately, right now, no, because we are waiting for many of them. They're still waiting that another opening from the FAC, the program for affordable housing, get out a new possibility of depositing new project. And until now, we're seeing more specific announcement outside of the program. So for many of them, there is no new opportunity of proposing their project to the Quebec government. So until now, we're not seeing a lot of opening for projects coming from the community.
I'm just curious of one other thing. The idea that they're going to be able to build these homes rather quickly. You heard, I think, as far as Project Genesis is concerned, this idea of what's affordable and what's not. That's the government's decision here. Did that make sense? Do the numbers at least make sense to you?
We have noticed that in many cases, the income, like the the apartment prices are actually kind of high for many regions, and even more than what basically is considered affordable is higher than what is the median price of housing in certain regions. So not necessarily. We are asking serious question on the affordability definition in those programs too. Okay.
Well, look, as I said, I think we can, I hope we could agree that this is a good first step. You're right. Maybe we need to be a little more questioning of the developers who got this deal, and I'm sure if others apply, maybe this will open it up a bit more. But in the meantime, that's still 600 plus homes in Montreal, another 300 in Rimouski. I figure that's a good first step. Catherine, I thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
Catherine Lussier over at FRAPRU, the housing advocates. I don't know. I get it. Everything can't be built at once. I completely understand that. But I think when someone says we're going to put up 1,000, homes or 1,001 homes and do it rather quickly and try to make them affordable, and that's clearly going to be an issue. What's affordable to you is not affordable to me. But I think that cutoff is 30% of your income. That's where they're going to limit it to. So in Quebec, where the average income is 55, I think this was in the report, 55 to 65,000, right? You'd be paying less than 30%. That's the level they cut off. So that's considered affordable housing. So I think at least for those, that's a good step.